Yo, 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 welcome in. Those who just finished watching the Ben Johnson press conference, I just did too. So I don't even have time to get all my thoughts together. This is literally just me lipping right off the end of it, my quick thoughts, because I got to get to my other job. But I wanted to get on here and say how freaking excited I am for Ben Johnson to be the head coach of the Chicago Bears. You can tell right off the bat that he's a man of culture, a man of discipline, a man of structure. But more importantly, from the multiple things you hear him saying, he is going to take this and cater it to the players and build a relationship with them. And I'm really excited to see what it means for them to have clear direction and feel like he is a player's coach. So, I mean, right off the bat, first thing that popped out of my head when I started listening to him, the first laugh I got was when he was acknowledging the past, acknowledging where he came from, and he said about Dan Campbell, he said he's a heck of a guy. So he already won the McCaskies over by saying heck. he's fitting with the family culture. But seeing the video yesterday where he's walking into Hallis Hall, seeing his little boy come up to him, his wife and his kids, 3 kids, and then him taking a picture in front of Caleb's locker room, or his locker in the players' locker room. Like, this dude is a family guy, and he wanted to move to Chicago to raise his family there. He obviously didn't want to do that in the toilet. So that was a big part of him coming to Chicago, was the culture. So as much as we can knock the McCaskies, as much as we can knock Ryan Poles and everything that's happened, like, he really did want to come here because of those guys, because of the cultural fit, because this is a place where he wants to build his family, he wants to build that family culture. And as hard as we just want it to be hard-nosed football, that's going to bring certain guys here that are going to want to play for Chicago and be a part of Chicago. I know DJ liked that aspect as well. There are certain players that are going to thrive and come into that, and I actually love it. For those who were ragging on Ryan Poles, I've been up and down on the Ryan Poles train. I don't have any slander to say about him. I'm just questioning his job. It's pretty clear they're probably going to want to extend him at this point, because they made it sound like from that press conference and from everything coming out that this is an aligned vision that Ryan Poles is a core part of. So I would expect a Ryan Poles extension coming, maybe not before the Senior Bowl and the Combine and the draft and all that stuff happening, because there's a lot they're going to have to doing right now. But all that comes together and we pull off some good free agents, we pull off a good draft, on paper. Nobody knows until we hit the rubber on the road and we get to the field. Nobody's going to know how well it really went. But if those things happen, I would expect a Ryan Poles extension very, very soon. Everything that they're making it sound like is there's an aligned vision, and this is a reason why Ben Johnson wanted to come here. Other quick thoughts real quick. Some key things that I got from Ben Johnson on why he wanted to wait another year. He said one key thing near the end of the press conference where he said he didn't have complete confidence in his ability to oversee the entire defense. He wasn't showing it as a slight to himself. He wasn't showing it as a weakness. He simply said, that's one thing, as I decided to come back and run it back, the primary reason he made it sound like was they wanted to win a Super Bowl. Totally respect that. A lot of disappointment over that. He made it sound like he's still trying to cope with that. Still, I mean, you're the number 1 seed. You're going to have a frustrating time coming to grips with that, and we didn't do what we wanted to do. I also think that's going to motivate him here. He didn't get that Super Bowl. Now he feels the challenge. So I'm really excited to see how he can convert that, take his experience he got from the last year, staying 1 extra year with Detroit, learning some of the defense, and then moving it into being a head coach. He said he will be very involved on every aspect, all 3 phases, offense, defense, and special team. He did not seem to indicate that he knew who his coordinators would be yet, but he wanted to get this fluffy stuff over with, the press conference and the introductory stuff, so he could get to work and find those coordinators and put the staff together. Sounds very eager to get all that done. He mentioned there are going to be a lot of late nights, that he wants people who are going to be able to work as hard as he does. So I love that aspect of it. I'm trying to go through my cliff notes in my head real quick because I want to make this quick. I know you guys just watched the press conference too, and then I need to get to my other job. But the other thing that really stuck out was they asked him a lot of questions about Caleb, and he even cheeky at one moment said, it doesn't hurt to have a quarterback. So it was clearly a deciding factor in him coming here. And then I love that he got the jab in on the Packers as well. He mentioned how much he respected Dan Campbell and Kevin O'Connell. He didn't say he doesn't respect Matt LaFleur, but he, in true Bears theme and true Bears fashion, he basically said FGB by saying, I've also enjoyed beating Matt LaFleur twice a year. I believe his record against Matt LaFleur is 7-1 at this point as a coordinator and as on the staff of the Lions towards the Packers. So I love it. I love him bringing that same culture, bringing the same excitement that we always love to see towards the Packers. FGB. I love beating Matt LaFleur twice a year, so let's keep that up. I don't have any speculation who it is at this point who will be the coordinators. You hear a lot of rumors that it will be Dennis Allen and Rizzi, who's the interim and the special teams coordinator for the Saints. You hear those rumors, but we'll see. It should get announced very soon within the next couple of days. You hear a lot of rumors about Hank Fraley being the offensive coordinator. I don't think he's opposed to that. He said he's going to have someone that he trusts as his offensive coordinator, though. I don't know how much more blatantly obvious that could be than he trusts Hank Fraley. Now, there could be a lot of guys he trusts. Sorry, I'm trying to run through really quick everything I remember from it. The other thing he said was he wasn't distracted during the playoffs and this hiring process. He had people that helped him out. And the interview process was very clear when he took his tele-interview and everything he'd worked through. And there were also, he mentioned the connection at Boston College. He said, we didn't overlap. Ryan Poles was there before me. I was there right after Ryan Poles. But when you know the same circle of influence, when you have people that can vouch for character, when you have people that can say you're both aligned with the same value and visions, it's going to make it really easy to have those references. Anybody who's hired for a job or who has been a part of the hiring process knows references are a big part of that. And the more you know the references, the more you can have legitimate value in trusting them. It really goes a long way towards trusting someone for the future in the hiring process. So, like I said, we're going to keep this quick. I was very impressed, extremely impressed with Ben Johnson's interview. He looked really good with his navy blue and his burnt orange tie and the Bears lapel, his little pin on his lapel. Looked really good. He looks like he's ready to take this on, and he exuded confidence. He seems like he is a player's coach that is going to have high expectations, and he said, everyone's going to have to be accountable. He said, get ready for there to be some serious accountability, but he also was building the players up at the same time, that he wants to be right in there with them. He boasted about his players that he was close with in the past. He has made, in yesterday's video, he talked about with the staff at Hallis Hall when he was in the front entryway. He said those players are going to be everything this revolves around. Okay, and those aren't word for word, but I'm just summarizing what he said. He really does believe that as you build those guys up, but then have high expectations on them, that they're going to perform. So everything from here is going to crux off those two things. His intro at the beginning of Hallis Hall, then his intro today. He's got a clear vision. Now, some of the press guys asked the question, how is this going to be any different? And he hit it head on. I can't talk for the guys in the past, but what I can tell you is what I'm going to do in the future. He's not going to shred the playbook apart. He's not going to tear everything down to the studs and start over. He said he's going to coach the players from where they are and how he can adapt to it. And he wants to keep things fresh and make them look a certain way and not a certain way at the same time, which is really telling about why his offenses have been so successful throughout the years. He can make one thing look a certain way. He can pull it off a different way. So it's going to be really interesting to see what he does with this team. I am, for one, am all in and excited like crazy. So, like I said, short, my quick thoughts on it before we start our day. Next big news that will be coming out will be the offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, special teams coach, coordinator, as well as the wide receivers coach, the quarterback coach, all of that. So that will be coming within the next couple of days. I would expect that within the next couple of days. Probably another presser the end of this week, and then we get into the Senior Bowl, the Shrine Bowl, all the stuff with recruiting the players coming from the draft, and then we get right into it. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Glad to be here with all of you. I'm not looking in the comments because I meant this to be a quick summary video. Appreciate all of you tuning in, though. I'm not ignoring you. Appreciate every one of you. We'll be right back at it. Appreciate being a part of this with you guys. Until next time, the Bears and bear down.